It was the coldest morning of the year when Anna Keller, a wildlife photographer known for her deep love of animals, noticed something strange just beyond the edge of her snow-covered property. A single line of tiny paw prints, barely visible beneath the fresh powder, leading away from the road and vanishing into the dense, frozen forest beyond. Curious and concerned, she paused mid-sip of her coffee, watching the swirling snow through her window. No stray dog or cat had ever wandered this far out of town, especially not in such brutal weather, and something deep within urged her to follow. Grabbing her camera, winter gear, and a small pack of supplies, Anna set out, each step crunching beneath her boots as the wind howled through the barren trees. The prints were erratic, meandering, as if made by an animal too weak to walk straight, and her heart pounded faster with every turn they took deeper into the unforgiving woods. For nearly an hour, she trudged through drifts and icy streams, her breath clouding in the frigid air, until a faint sound stopped her in her tracks. A soft, pitiful whimper barely audible above the wind. Following the sound with increasing urgency, Anna stumbled upon a small hollow beneath a fallen pine tree, and her breath caught in her throat. There, huddled and shivering, was a tiny grey wolf pup. No more than a few weeks old, its fur crusted with ice, its body trembling violently, eyes wide with terror and pain, alone, abandoned, dying. Anna's heart ached as she carefully approached, murmuring soft words, knowing that even a single wrong movement might drive the pup further into the shadows, or worse, seal its fate in the bitter cold. Slowly, she unzipped her coat and wrapped the fragile creature against her chest, shielding it with her body warmth as she began the long, grueling trek back through the snow. Each step was a battle, her arms cramping from holding the pup close, her mind racing with questions. Where was its mother? Had a pack left it behind? Would it even survive the next few hours? But surrender was not an option. Back at her cabin, Anna transformed her studio into a makeshift den. Heating pads, soft blankets, warm broth carefully administered, drop by trembling drop. And through sheer will and endless care, the tiny wolf pup, whom she named Ash, clung to life. The days that followed were a blur of sleepless nights and whispered encouragements, Anna's own strength tested beyond anything she had known, until at last, one bright morning, Ash opened his eyes fully, a spark of life returning to the depths of his gaze. The bond that formed between them was immediate and profound. Though Anna knew wild wolves could never truly be domesticated, Ash trusted her completely, following her every step with unwavering devotion. Yet the story didn't end there, for as news of the rescue spread, experts began investigating the nearby forest and uncovered the heartbreaking truth. A poacher's snare had likely killed Ash's mother, scattering the pack and leaving the lone pup to fend for itself. Outraged, Anna joined forces with local wildlife rangers to dismantle illegal traps and advocate for stricter protections, all while continuing to care for Ash until a suitable rehabilitation center could be found. But when the time came to say goodbye, neither Anna nor Ash was ready. The wolf pup had not only survived the storm, but had brought a community together in its wake. And on the day of his release into a protected sanctuary, as Anna knelt to whisper her final words, Ash nuzzled her hand gently, eyes shimmering with unspoken gratitude, before turning toward a new life among his kind, a testament to the power of compassion, resilience, and the unbreakable bond forged between two souls who had saved each other against all odds. In the weeks that followed Ash's release into the protected sanctuary, Anna found her life oddly quiet. Though the cabin remained filled with the warmth of her photographs and memories, there was an ache in her heart, a constant longing each time she looked toward the snow-draped forest where they had first met. But fate, it seemed, was not done with them yet. One crisp morning, just as winter began to yield to spring, Anna received an urgent call from the sanctuary's lead biologist, Dr. Miles Harper. Ash had been thriving, growing stronger and more independent by the day. Yet something was troubling the young wolf. He had begun lingering by the sanctuary fence, staring out toward the human world beyond, refusing to eat, his howls echoing mournfully each night. Dr. Harper suspected the bond between Anna and Ash had left a deeper mark than anyone anticipated, and he proposed an unprecedented idea. Perhaps Anna could visit, not to domesticate him, but to help him fully transition, to reassure him that he had not been abandoned again. The very next day, heart pounding with both joy and dread, Anna drove through the winding sanctuary roads, unsure how Ash would react after weeks apart. But the moment she entered the observation clearing, a low, familiar whine pierced the air. Ash, now lanky and powerful, bounded toward her with an almost desperate energy, tail wagging, amber eyes gleaming with recognition. Their reunion was nothing short of breathtaking. Anna knelt, tears streaming, as Ash buried his head against her shoulder, trembling with relief and affection. Over the next several days, under careful supervision, Anna worked with the sanctuary team to gradually reintroduce Ash to his wild instincts, leading enrichment exercises, simulating natural hunts, and most importantly, helping him build bonds with a small pack of rescued wolves being rehabilitated alongside him. It was a delicate dance, encouraging Ash's independence while honoring the trust they shared, and Anna poured her heart into every moment, knowing that true love sometimes meant letting go. But even as Ash thrived, a new crisis loomed. A nearby wildfire, sparked by careless hikers, began sweeping toward the sanctuary's outer borders, threatening not only the fragile habitat, but the lives of dozens of rescued animals. When the evacuation order came, chaos erupted, vehicles loading animals, staff scrambling to secure enclosures, and amidst it all, Anna faced an agonizing choice. Ash had bonded with his pack, was ready to lead and survive, but if the fire breached the sanctuary before full evacuation, he and the others could be trapped. With time running out, Anna joined the emergency team, her determination fierce. As smoke thickened the sky, she and Dr. Harper devised a daring plan. Open the pack's enclosure gate early, guiding them toward a pre-cleared forest corridor where they could escape the advancing flames naturally. It was a risky gamble, but it was their best hope. At the critical moment, Anna stood at the corridor's entrance, calling softly. Ash appeared first, wary but trusting, eyes locked with hers. With a low, commanding bark, he turned back, herding the hesitant wolves forward, leading them into the safe passage, as if understanding the gravity of the moment. When the last wolf had vanished into the trees, Ash paused, glanced back at Anna one final time, a gaze filled with trust, gratitude, and something deeper, before disappearing into the smoke-veiled forest. In that singular moment, Anna knew. Ash was no longer the helpless pup she had cradled against her heart, but a strong, wild soul carrying the legacy of their bond into a world of his own. And as the fire raged and was finally contained days later, rangers reported sightings of a small pack, led by a distinctive young wolf with piercing amber eyes, thriving deep within the untouched heart of the forest, a living testament to love, courage, and the extraordinary power of rescue. Weeks after the wildfire had been contained and life around the sanctuary began to return to a fragile normalcy, Anna still found herself standing at the edge of the forest each morning, her gaze tracing the distant ridgelines, silently hoping to catch a glimpse of Ash's pack, though she knew in her heart that his path was now his own. And it was during one of these quiet dawn vigils that a new chapter began. A battered old truck rumbled up the sanctuary drive, its horn honking urgently, and out stepped a frantic young boy named Eli, no older than 12, clutching a faded leash and a crumpled piece of paper. His wide, tear-streaked eyes met Anna's as he stammered out a desperate plea. His family's German shepherd, Ranger, had vanished 3 nights ago during the fire evacuations, bolting into the woods in terror. And though his parents had searched endlessly, there had been no sign of him since. Something in the boy's raw fear, the desperate love in his voice as he spoke of the dog who had protected him since he was a toddler, struck a chord deep within Anna. And before the sun had fully risen, she was assembling a small search team, maps and radios in hand, determined to help. The next 48 hours blurred into a relentless pursuit through scorched terrain and smoke-choked valleys. They followed faint paw prints through ash fields, picked through collapsed underbrush, and called Ranger's name into the silent ruins, each unanswered echo tightening the knot in Anna's chest. Yet it was in the third dawn, beneath a bruised lavender sky, that they found a sign, a patch of matted fur caught on a jagged fence, a shallow paw print near a charred creek bed, and nearby the faintest whine drifting from a tangle of fallen branches. Heart pounding, Anna crawled through the wreckage, flashlight cutting through the gloom, and there, trapped beneath a collapsed beam, his leg blooded and eyes dim with exhaustion, lay Ranger. The loyal shepherd lifted his head weakly at her voice, a spark of recognition flaring even through his pain, and with trembling fingers, Anna whispered soothing words as she carefully freed him, tears streaming unchecked down her face. The journey back was agonizing, every step cautious to protect the injured dog cradled in her arms. But when they arrived at the sanctuary gates and Eli saw Ranger limp into view, tail wagging faintly, the boy's sob of pure joy shattered the gathered crowd's composure. Clutching Ranger's neck, Eli wept openly as Anna knelt beside them, her heart swelling with the reminder that rescue was not just about saving animals. It was about reuniting souls, about healing bonds forged in unconditional love. In the days that followed, as Ranger slowly recovered under Anna's watchful care, the story spread through the town, inspiring an outpouring of support and sparking a new wave of volunteer interest in wildlife and pet rescue. And though Anna's days remained filled with the tireless work of healing and hope, each night she still walked to the forest's edge beneath the stars, and sometimes, just sometimes, she imagined she heard a distant, familiar howl weaving through the darkness, a silent promise that even the wildest hearts remember those who saved them. As spring fully unfurled its green embrace across the once scorched land, life began returning in small, hopeful ways. New shoots pushing through blackened soil, birdsong weaving through the trees, and Anna's sanctuary swelling with visitors inspired by the story of Ash, Ranger, and the countless other animals who had found safety within its wooden fences. But just as Anna allowed herself a breath of relief, fate whispered another urgent call for help. One stormy afternoon, as thunder rolled overhead and heavy rains lashed the town, a frantic local contractor named Miguel burst into the sanctuary's front office, soaked to the bone and shaking with worry. His crew had been clearing debris from an old mill basement, slated for demolition, when they'd heard faint, mewling sounds echoing beneath the floorboards. Cats, trapped by rising floodwaters, their cries growing weaker with each passing minute. Without hesitation, Anna grabbed her waterproof gear and rescue kit, rallying a small team as they raced against the encroaching storm. The mill stood silent and sagging amid the downpour, its cracked foundation groaning beneath the weight of the waterlogged earth. Inside, ankle-deep floodwaters swirled through the dark, cluttered basement, and through the gloom came a chorus of tiny, desperate cries. Guided by flashlight beams and instinct, Anna waded through the icy currents, heart pounding. There, wedged behind a stack of rusted shelving, lay a young tabby mother cat, her drenched fur clinging to her trembling frame, her wide eyes locked in terror as she struggled to shield 3 tiny, sodden kittens from the rising tide. Time was slipping away. Moving with infinite care, Anna approached, murmuring soothing words as she reached out, and in a moment of pure, instinctual trust, the exhausted mother allowed herself to be lifted, her fragile body quivering in Anna's arms. One by one, the kittens followed, each no larger than Anna's palm, their faint mews barely audible above the storm's fury. The escape was a blur, a race through collapsing beams and swirling water, Anna cradling the shivering feline family beneath her jacket as her team cleared the path ahead. Back at the sanctuary, a makeshift nursery was prepared in record time. Under the warm glow of heating lamps and the gentle hands of volunteers, the mother cat, whom they named Willow, nursed her precious kittens back from the brink. For days, Anna sat beside them, her heart aching at the thought of how close they had come to losing everything. And as the kittens opened their eyes and grew strong, a bond formed not just between Willow and her rescuer, but among the entire community that had rallied to save them. Word of the rescue spread quickly, drawing new volunteers and donations that would soon fuel even more daring missions. And late one evening, as Anna watched Willow nuzzle her sleeping kittens beneath the soft glow of a lantern, a familiar howl rose faintly from the distant hills. Ash's voice carried on the wind, a haunting, beautiful reminder that the chain of rescues never truly ended, each act of compassion rippling outward, touching lives in ways no one could ever fully measure.